Camp Beagle, this is only our second or third YouTube. Lovely Mel and Steve, who do the amazing job of doing the lives outside the slaughterhouses. They've been really nagging me to do it, because we do Instagram and Facebook, and we started to do TikTok, but we're told that this YouTube is the fastest growing sort of medium at the minute for activists. So, but they tell me that the live streams on YouTube, they do like 2-3 hours. I can talk for 2 to 3 hours, but who's going to listen to me for 2 to 3 hours? I don't know. I'm just going to keep on talking. I think I'm going to do about half an hour or something like that, because evidently people come on and off. Do they? YouTube is sort of like a casual thing. You don't stay for the whole thing. So ready for some quality blah blah blah. When I give a talk, actually, I could talk for a long time, and I get warmed up after about half an hour. So here we are. It's the autumn equinox, and we had a bit of a ceremonial thing tonight. We've lit the first fire. I was going to say of the winter, but that's a bit. Take it easy, John. It's autumn. First day, they reckon officially the end of the summer, first day of the autumn. What equinox always means to me is it's a kind of magical day, really. It's a day when the North Pole and the equator and the South Pole get the same amount of daylight. 12 hours daylight, 12 hours dark. So now the Northern Hemisphere going into winter, but the Southern Hemisphere going into summer. But where are we? Yeah, can you come up here? We are, for those who don't know, we are next to 1,500 dogs who live in this grotesque, vile prison that I've personally known about myself for decades. Talking of decades, we'll come to this in a minute. I went to prison. Is anyone watching?
I've got two
Hey,
watchers.
2 people. Evidently it's a bit of a slog to get an audience or something on YouTube, but if we keep plugging away at it, we've reached millions of people on Instagram now. The other month we reached 3 million people in 1 month, but it's not all about a numbers game. So we could have those 2 people watching here. Could be the next 2 people are gonna break into it and liberate puppies. Who knows? What was I saying? Yeah, I've known about this place I went to prison 35 years ago. Sasha, I know you don't want to be filmed, but look at him. He's holding the camera. What were you doing then?
I was getting an aesthetic shot through your camera.
Of an action shot.
Yeah.
The reason you'll see my face is Sasha, like most people, like great guys, come all the way here now. He's going to be part of the Camp Beagle winter team. But you ask loads of people to talk in front of a camera. He's been doing loads of mad activism all weekend. But when it comes to talking, people don't want to do it. So you're going to get my face, my ugly face going blah, 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 blah. So 35 years ago I've known about this place. We did a raid on St. Patrick's Day. That was part of a series of raids that year. We planned them. It was called Into the 90s. And actually we deliberately chose to start off, we started one on New Year's Day of 1990. We picked loads of significant dates. There was St. Patrick's Day of that year, November the 5th, and each time we'd raid a beagle breeders or a beagle lab. And it had 2 reasons to do it, really. One was because it's a beautiful thing in itself to liberate any animal, but the other one was we knew it would cheer people up. We knew it would encourage people. Finding out something like this is the best news people ever get, and we need good news. Do you know, like, I told you I could waffle, innit? I can waffle all day. How's the 2 people going? Are they happy? The 2 people are watching.
There's 4 people now. Up to 4. 4 watchers, 3 likes.
4 watches, 3 likes. That's like
the one.
massive percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the reasons we did that series of beagle raids that year, because even though there was loads of direct action going on, we wanted more, you know. And there's nothing like a happy ending. There's nothing like a happy story. And what's better than a liberation raid? I've known people that go around the world and like do say rescue work for earthquakes, and it's that the image of a survivor of a conflict,
We've got 8 watchers.
live and direct. Sorry about that, whoever you are. Yeah, that the image of a survivor. Like in Gaza at the minute, you know, when you see them out digging bodies after the bombing's been. And even though it's a tragedy, if they can rescue the grandmother or the baby or the budgerigar or a dog, a survivor is a survivor. So that year in 1990s, we called it in the 90s. Live telly, hey folks. Yeah, there's something so special about Survivor, and we're dealing here. When you get into the numbers, there's millions and millions of animal experiments in the UK alone. I think I saw some figure the other day. I think the number of animals that get vivisected around the world is obscene. I think it gets into the hundreds of millions. What about the number of chickens, the number of pigs, like Mel and Steve who do the slaughter
What is
work?
it? 5 million chickens a day, isn't it, in this country?
Is it 5 million a
5
day?
million a day, yeah.
Because
Dead in this country for no fucking reason.
when I started campaigning 40 years ago, on the leaflets, it used to say 400 million animals get killed. 400 million factory farmed animals get killed every year. Now, it's like, I'd seen them a couple of years ago, it said 900 million. Now it's over 1 billion in the UK alone. So, some people say, what's the point of doing a raid, you know, when they're just going to replace them? People like that, I don't know what to say to them really. If they don't understand, when you liberate any animal or any person, any survivor from a violent situation, you've say like saving one chicken from a broil shed or one dog from here, you've done it. You've ticked all the boxes. You've achieved animal liberation for that animal. Nothing could be more precious. So yeah, this place, this disgusting place, I've personally known about it for decades. But we used to do actions here back in the day, try and bring it to the public light. But then it would die down, you know, things. But with Camp Beagle, we started 4 years ago. This place is becoming so infamous. People all around the world know about this place now. The local people who live there did not know about this place. It's hidden. We're next to 1,500 dogs. You shouldn't be able to hear me speak now. But they're in soundproof buildings. we'll make some recordings down the day. But even when we make the recordings, there's a microphone. We have to use this special microphone because it just won't pick them up. They're not when the workers go inside these sheds. It's deafening. They wear ear protectors. Yeah. So we've lit the fire today, and that's. Camp Beagle was set up in the end of June, start of July 2021, and there was a vibe around the time. It started off organically. It was never planned. For me, the thing that really, because things come in cycles. Like if you look at this. People think a very common perception, but that's our job to get up, to gnaw away at this. People think animal experiments. A lot of people think animal experiments were banned in the 70s. We don't do that anymore. Not in UK, the nation of animal lovers. Yet for 4 years, we've witnessed dogs coming out of here on an industrial level. Since we've been here, over 10,000 dogs have been sent out. And where did they get sent to?
Dead death.
Dead death. Torture. And where did they get sent? They get sent 5 miles up the road to Labcorp. Labcorp is the Huntingdon laboratory. Those who've been involved for many, many years would know it as, it used to be called the Huntingdon Research Centre. Then they called themselves Huntingdon Life Sciences. Again, back in the 90s, there was a series, there was quite a few undercover investigations. That laboratory is the place where you see the dogs. They had these dogs and they were subjecting them to 9 injections a day. And even though the dogs are trained in here, they train them from a young age. From as young as 3 weeks old, they start them to get them to present the paw, and they'll give them some sort of treat, or they'll raise their neck, you know, because they take blood from here, and they'll have to do these shaving procedures. They learn them to do all these like passive actions. What was I saying then? Yeah, that's the place where they're punching the dogs in the face, man. That becomes normal in that. There's no nice way to torture animals. There's no nice way. These dogs get used for toxicology tests. They're going to be killed at the end of the test. 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. There's different ways to administer the chemicals or the pharmaceuticals, whatever it is they're being tested on. It's the same toxicology test for an agrochemical, a new pesticide, as it is for a new medicine. Each day, for maybe, like I said, 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, you're delivering poison. How you do that? Either an injection into the blood, or with something called a gavage, a tube. There's no nice way of getting a dog and sticking a tube down its throat. And it's going to wiggle. And then Huntingdon, and I don't understand it, but it maybe becomes, it's why secrecy and cruelty are such monsters when they get together. And it's why societies, when it comes to deliberate torture, if you allow deliberate torture in your society, you're doomed. What other standards can you hope to attain to? If torturing is normal, and that's why so many people have taken a stand against animal experiments. Gandhi, think of all the atrocities. How many people watching? We've got some more people watching.
We're up to 7 now.
Oh.
We did have 14 a minute ago, though.
Oh.
I know, it's fucking getting there, isn't it?
Told me that. Yeah. This goes back a long time. This fight, folks. Look at this. This is a statue, the brown dog statue. 1906. This was erected in London by people just like me and you, broken-hearted people. There was an undercover investigation then, right back at the, I think the undercover investigation was 1903 by 2 Swedish women. They came over and they watched while a mad professor, ripped a dog open in a theatre. You know, they called them operating theatre. They used to have public displays of these things. And it caused a massive outrage, and eventually the kind people of London, when I say the kind people, if you look at this photo here, proper Victorian dresses and things, these were the suffragettes, these were the trade unionists, these were the social reformers, and they wanted to take a stand. A lot of people say that the people, if you care about animals, you don't care about people. What? There's some people, very few people you come across like that, and I get it. They're like bugger people. But if you look at the history books, say like in this country, these people here, Like I said, there'll be the trade unionists and the anti-slavery campaigners in this country. That the same people that set up the NSPCC are the same people that set up the RSPCA. They're the same people that fought to abolish slavery. Wilberforce and what was the other one? Lord Wilberforce and one of the, yeah. So, so going back to this, 1906, they planted this statue. And it was broken out of people, the brown dog statue. In 1906, this plaque here read, "Men and women of England, how long shall these things be? How long are we going to allow this newfangled thing called science to just treat animals as objects, to treat them as if their pain doesn't matter? Men and women of England, how long shall these things be?" And that was 1906, and here we are now, Camp Beagle. And in the 4 years we've been here, over 10,000 dogs have been taken to their deaths. And where did they go? Labcorp. This place was set up by the same, it was set up by two vets called Hacking and Churchill. People get surprised about that. But, and you meant to do the YouTube thing the other way around, or you?
Nah, people in the comments said to do it the other way.
Ah.
Yeah.
Why is that then?
I'm not sure.
Okay. This place got set up by the same two vets, two veterinary surgeons set up this barbaric death row because they just got on board in the toxicology business arose with the chemical industry. They're the same thing. We've got something like 500,000 chemicals now awash in our society. 500,000 potential toxic poisons. But you think to yourself, how has this happened? Because of DuPont and Monsanto and the governments, surely they wouldn't release poison if it wasn't safety tested. It gets safety tested on dogs. Every new chemical, wherever you're from now, your house is going to be full of chemicals. Every product's full of chemicals. Every one of them has been tested on beagles and mice and then mass released onto the market. It's utterly insane. It's mad. It's very, very dangerous for people. Shall we keep it simple? Like, if Pepe got ill, I wouldn't take it to my GP. He'd send me away. I'm a human specialist. If I was sick, imagine if I was sick and I went down to the vets. All right, I've got a sore throat. They'd be like, "You what?" You know what I mean? Let's keep it simple. But that's what the chemical industry, the age of stupid. It's okay, everyone, we've tested it. They test it on dogs and mice. I would remember sitting across the road there one day and I was thinking, do I live in the world, this mad world we live in, where I know that human medicines are tested on animals and the failure rate, something like these scientists talk of a 96% failure rate. Mad. But I remember I was out the front there and I was thinking, I thought, because they're always saying, well, we need to do these beagle tests to ensure the safe production of new medicines for humans and animals, for veterinary medicine. So again, you're thinking, well, surely an experiment on a beagle is going to start to tell you something about reaction against a dog, like chocolate being potentially very toxic in large amounts. But you know what? Like, I remember I had the thought of that, right, I'm going to research this. Say some new cat medicine. Is that tested on dogs and mice? And it is. Donkey medicine, horse medicine is tested on dogs before it gets on the market. Not tested, a new cat medicine isn't tested on cats to get onto the market. It's tested on dogs and mice. It's mad. It's got to stop. And in the 4 years that we've been here, and for about my whole 40 years of campaigning against animal experiments, the animal experiments used to come out of the woodwork because they'd be on ITN News constantly, once a month, telling people they'd cured cancer. Honestly, once a month, the headlines back in the 80s used to be, "We've cured cancer," and there'd be like a little animation of cowboys and Indians going pew, and they'd be shooting the tumour with some new wonder drug. I remember one that was called interferon. Oh, that used to appear on the news so often. It used to cure so many diseases that interfere on. And all based on animal tests. They used to do public relations, and they basically used to be along the lines of, it's a dog or your baby. It's all very unfortunate and cruel what we do to these dogs, but it does save babies' lives. That used to be the thrust of their public relations. For the past 20 years, they've just gone totally quiet. They had a big clamp down against us at the start of the end of the 1990s, the start of the 2000s. We were starting to be really, really successful. We'd shut down consort breeding kennels, Perrycroft breeding kennels, Shamrock primate unit, Hillgrove cat breeders. We were getting that successful. I remember one campaign called Regal Rabbits. That was of rabbit breeders. Let's talk about the way they used to use rabbits. And they still do. The number of rabbits has gone down a lot, because it used to be the staple for like makeup experiments. That's still going on, but it's significantly reduced the rabbit eye experiments. But you know, you could say, well, I'm against cosmetic testing, but when it comes to medicines, I think it's necessary. But what about if it's ridiculous and unscientific? Like I said, experiment on a dog does not tell you what's going to happen to a cat. Experiment on a dog doesn't tell you the outcome of what that medicine will have on a horse. Experiment on a dog does not tell you what's going to happen with a human being. But you know, like people could say, oh, we shouldn't test on cosmetics. But with a cosmetic, with mascara, you're going to put some on your eye. So it's very dangerous, isn't it? Like, it's potentially, you don't want to put some chemicals on your eye unless you know they're safe. They used to use the rabbit for those eye tests. The rabbit's got 3 eyelids.
16 watches.
16 watches. The rabbit's got 3 eyelids. You couldn't want a worse model. Do you see where I kept moving up? Because I keep getting popped. I've explained, go off on a tangent, I mean. Can I go off on a... No.
Yeah, do it.
Hey?
It's the Camp Beagle experience, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll come back to the rabbits in a minute. The reason I keep doing this is, if you have, this is the first time we've lit this fire, and it must be a new fire, because if you keep watching and keep with us, with this here is going to begin to bow through the winter, because do you know that thing, roast your chestnuts on and up, and I love sitting there. Other Camp Beagle people have threatened to put spikes on this, because look, and I will eventually. It's my little Camp Beagle winter spot. Rabbits, 3 eyelids, and what about this one? No tear ducts. So all L'Oreal and all the rest of it were producing mascara, telling everyone it was totally safe because it's all been tested on rabbits who had no tear ducts. You couldn't want a worse model. But they've never cared about safety. All they cared about, these multinational corporations, is money. And we all accept that now. Trust is gone. When animal experiments, we're in their heyday, in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. I forget what I was going to say. What did I say, Dan?
Animal experiments in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah, in the heyday.
No tear ducts on rabbits.
Can't remember what I was going to say. Which I often do. Right, tangents. Yeah. So if you are going to use cosmetics, you want safe cosmetics. A huge amount of the companies now have moved over to non-animal testing. We never did need them. We never did need to drop shampoo into rabbits' eyes. It's disgusting. Gandhi, let's go back to Gandhi. He called it the blackest of all crimes, the darkest of all crimes. Imagine all the atrocities that Gandhi's had seen, all the despicable acts of violence that man had seen. Yet he chose to call animal vivisection. People don't use that term now. You don't hear of it much, do you? Anti-vivisection. Vivisection means means live, section means to cut, like with the brown dog, cutting live animals open. But yeah, we're on the shoulders of giants, folks, and this has been a long battle. We've got a picture up here of Barry Horn. This man, you know, like things come in cycles. Good friend of mine, Barry Horn. I spoke at his funeral. Big honour at speaking. Oh, I'll go off on a tangent about that. I remember being outside the hospital when Barry was on his deathbed, and I got a message that Barry wanted me to talk at his funeral. And you'd think it was a great honour, but it was also a massive in-joke. It was a practical joke from Barry, because me and Barry used to have lots and lots of fallouts, lots of arguments, like you do. I say like you do. Now, the toxic path, if you've got an argument, is to text it all. This was back in the day when we'd fucking be banging it out over a table, slamming the table. What the fuck you on about? Me and Barry used to have lots and lots of them. So by asking me to talk at his funeral, he knew I couldn't start with like, oh, Barry was such a lovely man. Barry the Bastard was our name for him. But this man died on hunger strike, you know? Poor Barry, man. That was such a strong period in the animal liberation movement. To die on hunger strike, to do that to yourself, the most violent death you can imagine, the slow. He went on a series of 3 hunger strikes. His last one was 68 days. So this story about fighting animal experiments has got an incredible history. I've got loads of stories that I'll be able to share with you at some point. Stories about how we did the raids. We could go into one of them. I could finish with one of them today.
21 watchers.
21 watchers. We only started off with 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about shoulders of giants. Look at this, man. Ron Green. I've got his hat. It's one of my most treasured possessions. Ron's hat. This lovely man. By this project at the side of the road, Camp Beagle, because these tents, we started off in little Euro hike tents, but we're literally at the side of the road. And one day this man passed by. He'd noticed us on social media. Ron Green. He came here when he was 100 years old. 100 years old this man came. He'd only recently gone vegan. How about that? He went vegan at 100 years old, eh? What a beautiful gentleman. And he was our patron. What an honour to meet that man. What an honour. We're on the shoulders of giants, folks. When I remember the moment Ron died, when we got the news of him, I went to see Ron while he was on his deathbed. I remember playing the guitar because he loved his music. He loved singing. And I remember I think 2 nights before he died, "And I Love You So" we were singing from the Beatles. "And I Love You So." Beautiful moments, beautiful man. Then after Ron died, I remember where we was. We were blockading the Cambridgeshire Police Headquarters with Animal Rising, as in blockading the headquarters, because Animal Rising people, they've come here twice to liberate beagles. The 2 best things that have ever happened while Camp Beagle has been here. We've had extraordinary events. Nothing will surpass getting the news the first time that 20 dogs have been liberated. And then was it? No, 5. It was 5 on the first occasion.
Well, 5 and 18, wasn't it?
Well, there's 20. They liberated 20, but the police got 2 back. So I think we should include those 20. Love and Libby.
Yeah, we should.
And the reason we blockaded the police station was because the police had got 2 beagles back from activists, literally snatched them out their arms. And they were in police custody at the time. And we blockaded the police station, trying to put pressure on the police. Those dogs, tragically, were taken back here.
Fucking executed.
It's hoped that at the Animal Rising trial, and if there's any Animal Rising people watching, make sure that Love and Libby get mentioned in your, because they won't want to charge the Animal Rising people with those 2. I think they're charged with liberating 18 dogs. Get Love and Libby into the equation, because we need to find out what happened to those 2 dogs. Yeah, we was outside the police station blockading it, and it was really interesting to work with Animal Rising, because they do it in a real soft, non-violent way, but they're trained kind of in non-violence, and they believe in their non-violent path. So when they blockaded the police station, they kind of do it really politely. You know, they're like, we're going to block your police station, no police are coming in or out. If you did that with a load of people with balaclavas and all the rest of it, it'd be mayhem.
Fucking carnage, wouldn't it? Yeah. Hey? It'd be absolute carnage, wouldn't it?
Yeah, whereas the cops were like just scratching their heads. What do I do with these nice, behaved young people who were like not projecting hate towards us, but they're a pain in the ass. They're sitting in the road, and every time you get one of them out, another one, we shall overcome. It was really good though. But we got the news then of Ron dying. Do you know what the police did after that? After the first raid, the first Animal Rising raid, they raided Ron's house. Loads of detectives the next day arrive at this man's door, and they wanted to search his house. And the police said their information was that Ron had a red carpet. I don't know how the police got that. He had a red carpet. A photo had been released on social media of the 5 liberated beagles, and the police identified the red carpet, and they wanted to search Ron's house. Amazing. So that's when Ron died, bless him. I'll go off one more tangent. On that first raid of Animal Rising, because when we did the raids here, or whenever I did a raid, the idea is to like get in and out and not get arrested, so you can keep doing it, you know, because to get arrested is a pain in the arse, you know, you end up in court, no, could go to prison, went to prison for this place. But Animal Rising have got a new spin on it. What they did the next morning after they took 5 dogs out, they went down the police station, 3 of them, and said hello. Dan was one of them, and Ben and Bo. We're Dan, Ben and Bo. And we broke into MBR last night. It was us that climbed the fence. It was us that smashed the door open. It was us that took the dogs. And they were arrested and interviewed and released. I think, well, that's it, you know. 2 weeks later, the CPS, they made a statement. They produced a statement. They weren't going to charge them with any charges at all, with burglary or theft, because there was insufficient evidence. Insufficient evidence. They just told the police, hello, it was us. Yeah, I broke the door down with a crowbar. And now they're charging them. Now, 2 years later, I think, they've decided to charge them. Stinky, stinky, stinky. We'll come on to the police at some point. The police have thrown everything they can at us. We've had times where there's been hundreds of police here. The police have broken my ribs. MBR have spent £4 million to try and get rid of Camp Beagle. But we're still here and we refuse to be criminalised. That means we have to jump through all the hoops. So many hoops. I've got some stupid hoops at the minute. The police have given me a new... I've been talking to a solicitor today. We're going to go to court to try and get rid of it. If at the minute, just me this counts for, if I stand on the road with a banner on the driveway, I can stand on the grassy roads, but if I forget about this rule and I wake up tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, and stand on the driveway with a banner, the bloody police tell me they're going to nick me because they've warned me into some community protection. MBR are constantly onto the police. Constantly. They're doing it. They got the megaphone. And the police, I won't go into that. That would be a rant of the century. I'll tell you what, I will tell you something. I'll sit down here and get comfortable. I'm not going to tell you too much, but there's something, only not even 2 weeks ago, and I haven't spoke about it on the Instagram and Facebook. Do you want to come near in case you don't pick the sound up? I had terrible, 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 as bad as it gets, family tragedy, family a nightmare. I don't want to talk about it. We received some news from the police on a Friday afternoon via a phone call. One of my family members takes that phone call from the police. It's about a death in the family. She couldn't understand what the policeman was saying. It's not true. She then rings me. I just had a call from someone who said they're the police about this death. It's too painful to even talk about. That was on the Friday. My family spent Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday trying everything under the sun to get hold of one police officer to explain to us what we've done. All I ever do is see police here. There was a demo recently, about 2 weeks ago. Someone's just got the freedom of information. I know there's a freedom of information request about one day in August. And it cost the police £46,000 to police it here. I can't tell you how many hundreds of police I've seen here. MBR just ring up the phone and they get a cop. A couple of weeks ago there was a really nice, beautiful woman. She was a yoga teacher. And she said, I want to go in and speak to the management. So when the gate opened, she strolled in. She just wanted to talk to the management. She didn't have any of this sort of activist package of, like, you know, putting the balaclava on and pretending it was a big affair. She just wanted to walk through the gates and I want to see the dogs. I want to speak to the management. They had her on the loudspeaker to the police eventually. The police were saying, you're going to have to leave. Otherwise, you'll be liable to arrest. They sent a police car, for God's sake. There's 2 security guards, you know, that were incapable of doing anything. Even for things like that, MBR were able to ring the police. My family, my God, I went down to the police headquarters on Sunday morning, Northamptonshire Police Headquarters. I've got snot coming out my nose. Please, will someone speak to us? Please give us some information. Can I speak to her? And I wanted to speak to a cop, hopefully one with a uniform, because this is to do with the death and I want some formal information. It was like trying to get, you know, when you try and get a crime reference number for a stolen bicycle, or even more flippant, trying to change your train tickets. The police, they've become like everything else in life, a removed, detached organisation that are not part of the community, and they operate as if they're running a call centre. We couldn't, yet MBR, all they have to do. Right, ranty. How we doing? What's the numbers?
23 watching.
Come on, YouTube. The idea of doing this, but I'm happy to talk to the 20. Are they saying anything? 22 people.
Some good comments. Yeah, a lot of commiserations about what you were just talking about then. Yeah, a lot of animal liberation stuff.
I only said it because it's very easy to demonise the police. If the police turn up here, if we start on, put the camera on the cop or something, they didn't choose to come here, they get sold, and then people will all write in, coppers. But this recent experience, to me, it wasn't political or anything. It was just like, what has happened to the cops? Do you know, some point, it's like, it's a symbol. If there's a death in the family, a uniformed police officer walking up the drive to deliver that awful news. Instead, my sister gets a garbled phone call. Yeah, MBR. It's like
they got cops on tap, haven't they?
Cops on tap. I remember one Christmas here, there was a police car at the gates here. There was a police car at the farm gates from Christmas Eve until January the 1st. There was 2 police cars. They weren't the same 2 police cars, obviously. They would, you know, take it in turns. There were 2 police cars here continually for like 8 days.
How much do you reckon that costs?
I don't know, you know, like, but when it comes to cost and the police is, well, the government have just said, and the police have probably got a special budget to police this
Mm,
now. If you get burgled in Cambridge, forget it. Ring 101 and all the rest of it.
yeah,
If you get a death in the family, ring 101. But MBR
yeah,
can do that. And now with this government protection thing, I bet you they've got a special.
oh,
Budget.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. My granny's lost her fuel allowance for the winter,
Right.
but you know the government can fork out for this company here, can't they, to prolong the suffering of dogs?
And that's
How does that make sense?
I took the thought about why this place is here. In Italy, there's a picture up here. This picture here, beautiful picture. This is from Italy. This is when activists and local people got together, mobilised, had a big massive demo, broke in and liberated a load of dogs. Hallelujah.
Is that when they got kicked out of Italy? Was it? Mm.
The police got involved. They prosecuted the activists. They take them to court. But in Italy, evidently, if you get allegations put against you, you can make counter allegations, which the people who got arrested for liberating the dogs did. The judge begins to then investigate MBR and immediately instigates a full investigation. And what the judge found was horrific. For example, they do everything they did in Italy, they do here. They were imprisoned in Italy for what the judge found out. The senior manager, the European manager of MBR was sent to prison. The senior vet in the puppy factory in Italy, the MBR puppy factory, was sent to prison. For things like, but they do it all the same here. They use sawdust here. You can see it on the picture there. Because they never get out, so they piss and shit in their own living space. So they use sawdust to mop the shit and the piss off. But you don't use sawdust with puppies. It's dangerous. Puppies like Pepe, like when we give her that new toy, she had the eyes of the
Yeah.
dog, you know. But in these beagles, laboratory beagles, they're known for their like food obsession because the beagle, they chose the beagle 70 years ago in the 1950s for one reason and one reason alone. It's because they're their gentle disposition. They're easy dogs to manage. They're easy dogs to pick up. They're easy dogs. They don't fight back. They don't bite back. They freeze, for God's sake. They're gentle. But what they have got is one of the most active brains in the universe. They've been bred by human beings to be a hunting dog, to be a scent dog, and their brains never turn off. One of the only thing that's ever going to happen inside that cage today, of any worth, is like when they get food, or disgustingly, when one of the dogs have a shit, we put a little pinhole camera in through one of the air vents. We got it in there for 3 minutes. One of the dogs, we filmed one of the dogs having a poo. That poo didn't hit the ground before the other dog swooped it up and ate it. It's horrible to watch. But sawdust, dogs will eat the sawdust, puppies will eat the sawdust. And in Italy, the judge discovered in a 2-year period, 93 puppies died from either having a windpipe blocked or their stomach blocked through sawdust. Just things like that, simple things like that. And that's why this place is here, because they got kicked out of Italy. They left Italy when the manager and the vet got sent to prison. Marshals then announced they were leaving Italy because it was too restrictive, and they came here where they get the full protection of the Home Office. No one will defend this place. Marshals don't even defend. They've never made a statement in 4 years about all the allegations that we've made. They stay completely silent. What they do is rely on the Home Office. The industry, the chemical industry, never mentions these nasty beagle factory. The chemical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, never release any details at all about not even one single experiment. But what they rely on rely on is the Home Office. No matter who's in, the Tories, Labour, it'll be the same statement from the Home Office. This is the finest regulated practice in the world anywhere for laboratory animals. There is no problem. These animals are routinely inspected. Lies, 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 lies. Do you know what I discovered? The Home Office, they've got it's just, you think it's the Home Office who regulates his experiments, and it is. But they've got a special unit. It's called the Animals in Science Regulation Unit. That's like the police force of the laboratories. They're the inspectors. Do you know what I discovered? Because we discovered a lot here at Camp Beagle. Because we research every day and every night. We're at it all the time. It's not the Home Office. It's a Home Office department, but they've got a special funding. The Animals and Science Regulation Unit. And do you know who they're funded by? By marshals, by the industry. The industry funds their own police force. When they spent £4 million to try and get rid of us in the injunction, I've got to be able to cross-examine the workers. They've supplied one expert witness. I destroyed that witness, a woman called Wendy Jarrett. I'm surprised that was a mistake to mention her name, because I don't normally mention her and the little lobby group. She's employed by a lobby group, and there's no way I'm going to mention their name because they're obscure. No one knows of them. No one takes them seriously. They're funded up to the max by the industry. So, but they fund the Home Office department. The industry funds its own police force. You couldn't make it up. Yeah. Right, how we doing? Any questions?
No questions, no. I think you should give us one of your tales of liberation to end it on a positive note.
What do you mean to end? I'm only like 1 hour in so far. How long?
Well, we're 50 minutes in.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll tell the story of this place.
Yeah.
This place. Next time I do a YouTube, I've got some classic stories. But I'll tell this as soon as we're here. It's the first one. It's a simple story to tell. Okay. Right. We'll do the 1991. Because remember, there were two very big raids here. The raid after this one was genius. But we'll deal with that one. Now, people, when we, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's comments on here today. Not a day goes by when we don't get comments on Instagram and Facebook. Get the dogs out. I want to get the dogs out. I'll come with you. Nice sentiment, but extremely naive, you know? You can't just turn up and liberate dogs. I'm sure the animal rising people, I haven't spoken to them about how they did it, how they planned it, because they did it in secrecy amongst themselves. But they would have been here sussing it out, doing trial runs. Takes a lot of planning to do this race. It's like, and people think back in the day, people say it to me all the time. I think they imagine us like, people say, oh, there weren't any cameras then. Yes, there were cameras. They didn't have any alarms then. Oh, there was no electricity back then. Yes, there was alarms. So let's start with this place. They had alarms. They had security guards. They had Rottweilers. Yeah. So how did we begin? Right. It begins with an undercover investigation by a woman called Sarah Kite. She worked inside the laboratory up the road, and it got front page coverage. The result of that expose. Now it's impossible. That's the only bit of on the behind you on the wall. I think that's the only article in 4 years we've had. The mainstream media will not touch this subject, even though it's puppies being tortured, multinational corporations, government corruption. It's a tabloid story made in heaven, you know, but they won't touch us. Anyway, go back to what year would it? It would have been 1989 this would have been. So front page coverage about the horrors of the laboratory. So we wanted to do something about it. So I got together with a couple of friends and we were going to do a raid on the laboratory, now called Labcorp. But it wasn't impossible, but it was bloody difficult. They had a lot of alarms, a lot of security. There's always a crack. When you're going to plant somewhere, even though it seems impregnable, if you study long enough, you'll find cracks. And we were beginning to get somewhere, but it was a logistical nightmare. Then someone suggested we come down here and look at this, which is the place that supplies the beagles. And we did, and it was like, I remember the first night I came, it was like, hey, right, business, because this place wasn't known, they hadn't had a demo, and it was like, everything about it was keep the low profile. So that meant not a lot of high fencing and cameras. So it looked innocuous enough. And the fence was about that high, you know. They had cameras, but there was so many blind spots. It was like, yeah. Let's just do the full jobby on this place. Let's put all eyes on this place. So then, whilst planning it, I thought, right, we need some local input. So I'll go and ask the local subs. And two of us got done for it eventually, me and one of the local subs, a guy called Danny. So I went to see Danny. I said, Danny, we're thinking about doing a raid on, it was called Interfauna. And he was like, wicked, so are we. He was already, I'd already began planning. In fact, they were so far ahead, he'd already done a little trial run of coming in and breaking in on the sly. And I think they'd taken one puppy already. So, and they'd had a massive lucky break, really, as far as the raid goes. They would can people hear it? Are you sure?
Yeah.
They were doing a stall. Are people listening?
Yeah, we've got
23.
18.
We've lost.
We have, but we've been up to 40 though.
We've lost some people. Fuck them. You 18 lot, you're the hardcore lot. Yeah, we've got a very, very good break as far as doing the raid goes. Danny was doing a stall in town, and a woman came along. She was quite emotional. She was in tears, and she told them a story. She worked here, and many people come to work here. It's got such a high turnover. In the 4 years, you've got your hardcore ones left here. There's a pattern emerges. You get people who work here for like decades, or your ones that will do it for like 3 months, 6 months. If they stick at it, they're in trouble. They're in it for the long run. She was one of those people that saw the advert in the job centre. Do you want to learn how to look after dogs, get a qualification? Do you want to learn get a qualification in the scientific world? All looks good on the card. You come here and it's a dirty, stinking, rotten puppy factory. And she got attached to one of the dogs, like most normal people would. They don't encourage that at all. That's not the animal experimenters way. You know, these are tools. These are scientific tools. They're not normal dogs. That's why these dogs never get out. They've never been for a run. They've never seen the sky. They don't give them love. They're not dogs. Look at the name of this company, MBR, Marshall's Bioresources. They're not dogs. They're a bioresource for scientists to use in the laboratory to gain information. Sick. Anyway, she, being a human being, got attached to one of the dogs. She naively asked the manager, is there any chance I can take this dog home? Let's call her Daisy. They told her to bring the dog up to the office, and which she did, and they took the dogs from her, and they They stuck a needle into the dog's heart. They killed the dog on the spot in front of her. Dog was screaming, very painful way to go. They sacked her a week later. They said she had head lice. That's the reason they sacked her. But they always had it in for her, obviously. Once she said that, I want to take a dog home, she wasn't going to be on the payroll much longer. But what she did tell us was the entire security plan, where all the alarms were, really valuable information. Like inside the unit, they had, even then, back in the 90s, they had movement sensors. So they had a sophisticated alarm system. The doors, the windows were alarmed. So that meant we were going to have to go through the roof, which is fine. Anyway, that was always my preferred option. Um, um, so we've got the plans together, and now it's a matter of coming here night after night after night after night after night. God knows how many nights to spend here, because you have to get a feel for the place. You have to start watching the security, get their little mannerisms, start clocking them, start making notes. How often they come out? Are they touchy? Um, uh, and then when we were getting near the raid, like all night keeping the dogs barking, like throwing stones on the roof so the dogs would bark. So the security guards would be at the top here, and they weren't. The dogs weren't in soundproof buildings back then. You could hear the dogs from the road back then. Since then they've put in all the soundproofing. So we wanted to things like get the guards used to the dogs making a lot of noise at night, where normally the dogs will settle down in the dark. So for the week before the raid, just go up, plop onto the roof with a stick, with a stone. Dogs will go for 10 minutes. After they've died down, plop. Keep doing that all night. Work out your escape routes, because there's a hell of a lot to work out, because once you've got the dogs away from here, it's paramount they get to safety, so good escape routes. And this was at a time when the animal liberation movement was full of shit hot activists who were doing stuff like this. We're like professional burglars, I suppose you call us. Jewelry thieves. Like you see these films made about jewelry robberies. That's the level you'd have to do with something like this. A lot of planning would go into it. But we had a lot of experienced people to call upon. So then it was a matter of just asking people, recruiting people for the raid. And there's certain ways to do that. Like, say if I was gonna, I said recruiting, but you already knew loads of mad people to call upon. And like now, say if I was talking to people these days and they go like, oh yeah, I'd love to break in there, but my life would be finished if I went to prison, because I've got this responsibility, that responsibility. They're not the person I'm going to ask. You want people who are gagging for it, who you're going to have to sort of keep them on the leash. You know what I mean? People who are up for it. So we got a team of people together, and for something like this, we were going to empty the big puppy unit. And we're going to empty one unit. We're going to go to one shed and completely empty it. You can't take all the dogs. I wish we could get all the dogs out. Even back then, with the best executed raid, come on, there's over 1,000 dogs here. You need lorries. There's such a thing as the police force, you know what I mean? That was never going to happen, but we were going to empty one of the buildings. So in order to do that, because the security would do these patrols, we wouldn't be able to use a vehicle right next to the buildings. So we had to have the vans in the next field over there. So that meant we were going to need people anyway to ferry the dogs, a chain of people. And you need your lookouts. Being a lookout is a really, really important job. You think if you were planning somewhere and you just needed someone to watch the security or watch the road, that's an afterthought, or you give that to the least experienced person. That's the easy job. It's actually one of the most important jobs, and you need some of the most experienced people, because they'll be watching the security in their lodge all night, because you could get into a point where you could see in the windows. So, for example, when a guard comes out, you don't want someone who's going to get on the radio. It's on top. The guards are coming out. Maybe they're just coming out for a fag break. Maybe they're just coming out because they've heard a bit of commotion. So you want someone cool as a cucumber that's used to watching them. They've got the binoculars. So when the guard comes out, it's just a fag break. There's no reason to give that message. You might do. You might say, there's a guy outside, cut down on the noise. But not, there's a guard outside. Everyone do one. So we've got the people together. So in this case, to do this raid, boots on the ground, probably quite a lot of people, maybe at least 15 people, maybe 20 people. And that does not count in the drivers and all the other people that are going to look after the dogs afterwards. So the plan was to get 2 massive vehicles, the biggest vans we could get, virtually lorries, big Mercedes ones. They produce some very, very big, like laundry vans, but the biggest ones we could find. And then it was a matter of coming into the field here without being seen, setting ourselves up in position, waiting for the security, because they'll be like clockwork. They still are here, actually. They're like clockwork. They do like 2 hourly rounds here. You'd wait them to do the round. They come round, so like they do the round, and it'll always be on the hour. They'll do it like at 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So everyone's ready to go. The guards come past. You have to wait for them to walk all the way around the site and to get into the kiosk, and then job on. Get onto the roof. Lots of blankets, and then we start to drill through the roof, making holes. Then make yourself a big hole eventually. Make one big noise with the blankets. 1, 2, 3, boom, one thud, and you've got your hole. Wicked. And we had to make sure that we drop into the dog kennels and not the corridor, because if we'd have dropped into the corridor, we'd set off the alarms. And there's actually a video. One of my jobs that night was to bring the video camera. Oh, did you have a video back in the 90s? You know what I mean? That's what people ask. But they were fucking big things, I must say, you know, like. And it was my job that night, and this has happened so many times on raids. And this is a lesson for anyone out there. If you're going to do a raid and you want it filmed, pick someone and tell them, you're going to have to plan it. Bring an extra person, basically, because that person's going to want to get involved in the liberation. That's the most important thing. Holding a camera while there's all these lives being saved seemed like a waste of time. And I remember, so there's a little bit of film from that night, only a minute, because I put the camera down, did the first shot of the first dogs coming out, and then get rid of this rubbish. Let's do the work. And there's a story behind that, actually, because people think, I tell you what breaks my heart. How's the 18 people going?
Down to 7 now.
Oh! Dad and Steve, help me. Oh God, this is like,
oh, it's up to 9.
I'm telling a story. Oh look, Pepper woke up. They left us. Pepper, we're telling a story about them. We haven't even liberated the dogs left. But 9 people, 9 good people.
9 good people.
What was I saying? The bloody camera. What really breaks my heart is these posts you see these days. There's an anonymous organisation that go around breaking into laboratories, and you see this picture and it's all these hooded figures, as if there really is an organisation, like the fucking bat phone. You can ring these autonomous. Excuse me, there's some beagles being tortured in the lab. We'll be right there. Like the 18. Bullshit. I can tell you who the Animal Liberation Front always has been, always was, and always will be. It's not cracked ex-SAS troops that are trained in Siberia, that, you know, that come down with a helicopter off a rope. No, it's a bunch of fucking animal rights fuckwits. Well-meaning, intelligent, but we make mistakes. And what a whopping mistake we made at the start of that raid. So I'm filming, and we used to use radios, CB radios. And I filmed Danny picking a puppy up, going up the step ladder and passing the first puppy out the roof. And we're off. But Danny's got his CB radio on his waistband, and when the police zoom in, because it's evidence, and when the police zoom into the video, Danny had got the CB radios from his workplace. He's hiding. He's an electrician. So it's got the name and address of Danny's company on it.
Yeah, so that's a good fuck up there, isn't it?
Yeah. But we used to do, me and a guy called Keith Mann, he is an amazing person. Amazing animal liberation activist. He wrote a book, Dusk Till Dawn, big thick book about the animal liberation movement. What was I saying about him? What was I saying about Keith? What was I saying, man?
Well, you're on about the radios, and then Keith wrote a book.
Yeah. Can't remember. Tangent, Keith, here. TV radio. No, me and Keith used to do workshops. We did them international gatherings, and we used to do workshops how the raid went wrong. Because I'm just telling you a story now. This is a story. I love telling stories. If I was to sit down now and tell you I'm going to explain how to break into a laboratory, that's illegal. You can't do it. That's like conspiracy to rob. You know what I mean? But this is a story. I'm allowed to tell stories. And we used to do the stories how the raid went wrong. And there's a really good way of there used to be some hilarious ones. And like at animal rights gatherings, we'd invite people up on the stage to say how they got arrested. So it would be illegal to have workshops how to do the perfect crime. You still do it, but clandestine. But to do it how it went wrong is perfect. I remember there's some classic stories. I remember one at an international rights gathering. There was people from Finland, and they'd gone into the local city centre and smashed all the fur shops. But being Finland, been snowing, all the police had to do was follow the
Follow the footprints.
Yeah, took them straight to their house. Yeah, so we've got all the people together, we've got the vans, we've got the 20 people, there's a big chain of people. There's a story about Barry that night, actually. Barry was there. And my memory, there's a good story of Barry that night. Because it was such hard work, there's an Irish saying what I really like. A carried hen is a heavy hen. Like, look at this fat lump here. I could pick her up. But if I had to walk across the road, she's a lump. If I have to walk across a field with her, she literally gets heavier and heavier as you walk along. A bag of sugar, if you carry it for long enough, weighs like a ton.
Arms down, yeah.
I've walked across Spain. I did a thing called the Camino, and you learn on that walk to take the absolute minimum to even to carry these two things on a walk. If I need my tripod because I've got to do my live stream later. That gets ditched if you're walking day after day after day because you just got to get rid of all your weight. So it was bloody hard work, and there was a couple of people having a fag break, and Barry absolutely tore into him. What are you fucking doing having a fag break? Barry's a bin man. He was really, really physically fit, so he was totally on my case. So then, once the dogs started to come out, we was able to use all Interfauna's own dog crates. They used to have a warehouse there full of dog crates, so we didn't even have to bring our own dog crates. The thing I noticed from talking to the animal rising people afterwards, when they came and liberated dogs, they just literally picked them off and ran off with them. We would never do that back in the day. You'd always put the dogs in either boxes or sacks, things like post office sacks. Like someone like, oh, that's cruel to put a dog in a sack. When it comes to liberating and when it comes to how you act when you go in, you've got to put a bit of short-term animal welfare things aside. You're going to save these dogs from being tortured.
Yeah,
So things like
absolutely.
when you go in, and I've raided a lot of places, and with good people. And if you ever saw the video, it would be like getting a dog, getting it by the scruff of the neck, picking it up, putting it in a bag, getting the next one, cornering it. Maybe they're whimpering. You haven't got time to go, come here, little Daisy, it's okay, and picking them up and saying, you're going to be okay. No, there's no time for that. It's a bit it would look brutal. You're grabbing, you're putting them in the bag. But I noticed that about the animal rising, that when they ran from here, they ran with dogs in their arms. We wouldn't have done that. There's too much risk, I think, of that. I'm not slagging off animal rising, by the way, for the tactic, but there's too much risk of the dog getting away. And so then it was dogs in the boxes, into the van, and we got ready for this in one van, because we had two vans, and I'll tell you why we had the second van in a minute. 82 dogs in one van, stacked on top of each other. If we'd have been stopped by the bloody police or the RSPCA, they might have had a case against us for, like, they probably would have maybe done it cruelty or something, you know. Even though the Impex van goes out packed to the rafters, in our case they would have said that's cruel. So the dogs, and remember, you got people watching, the security guards. You got to do it all. The first stage had to be really completed in the first 2 hours. You had a window, because say they'd come around at 10, you couldn't really start until 10:05 until they went back into the security, and now you've got until 5 to 12 to kind of finish that stage at the bottom. But we did emptied the puppy in it. You got a technical problem?
Yeah, no, I reversed the camera, but by accident.
That gives people a shock.
Changed the background now.
I bet we'll lose all the followers now. Have you lost a follower as a result?
No, we're still doing good.
How many?
We're on 11.
Yeah, once we've got the van full up, and then it's always a big mistake if you've got a load of animals in one place to keep them together, because something can go wrong. You can have bad luck. So the idea was, and I'll be giving too many trade secrets away if I told you what happened after the van left here, but as soon as you can, you meet up with other vehicles who are going to split them all up. And back in the day then, there was hopefully there still is, because I'm not really in that circle now, really, of like liberations and stuff, but there used to be really good connections with all the dog rescue places and the animal sanctuary. Because a thing that's maybe changed now, your animal rights group wasn't a vegan group. Your animal rights group back then was someone who did the pigeon rescuing, someone who did the hedgehog rescuing. You had the hunt sabs, you had maybe people that specialised with doing circus demos and general animal rights protesting. So by our nature, you'd always have a lot of animal rescue people involved in the animal rights group, and that was great. That meant we had a great network. So that meant that the 82 dogs could disappear into the ether, boom, never to be found again. The reason we had two vans is because they had rabbits here as well, and we sort of went out of our way that this wasn't just going to be a beagle raid, that you care about dogs. There were rabbits here as well, but the rabbits were even more difficult to get, actually, because they were at the top of the site, near to the security. So that van's gone, and then we had a number of people stay behind to do the second thing, the second stage. It was a nightmare, actually, getting the rabbits. There were metal doors that we had to fucking drill through, which took for ages. Imagine the noise and the security. It was a nightmare. And then the worst thing was, when we got into the rabbit unit, they made more noise than the dogs made. And you're like, what are you talking about, John? How can the rabbits make more noise than the dogs made? Because they bang their back legs. It's one of their alarm calls, and they're in metal cages. The whole thing was a nightmare, the rabbits. I'm amazed we didn't get caught for it. But again, we had the security listening to noise all the time. Dogs barking, dogs barking, dogs barking. And the rabbits would kick off in the middle of the night anyway, banging their cages sometimes. So that was quite stressful getting the rabbits. But again, we filled the van up with 26 rabbits. There's a little postscript to that van, and things have always been the same. This was at a time in the 90s where Scotland Yard had a specialist unit called the Animal Rights National Index. There wasn't any even like specialist teams for like bloody paedophiles and sex offenders. I remember there was one famous, notorious child killer called Roger Black. He had a vile run for years of kidnapping children. The barest bit of police intelligence would have arrested that man. They knew the guy had they knew the man had a beard. They knew he drove a white van. You wouldn't think that's much of a clue. But if you keep a database of all the sex offenders and all the rest of it, like Scotland Yard should have been doing back then with sex offenders, there was no bloody specialist unit in Scotland Yard to catch sex offenders, but there was one for animal rights people. And do you know what they did with they managed to track down the van that we'd hired from a BMW garage. We hired it specially from a non-hire place, a place that didn't normally hire vehicles, but they found it. I'm not sure how they found it. But you know what they did? They had the forensics people on the van, and they found a piece of wheat underneath the van in the suspension. They did forensic testing on that wheat. They found a rare fungus on that wheat. They then came to the field that the van had drove in. They took samples of the wheat, and that fungus had this very, very rare. The wheat had this very, very rare fungus, like kind of 1,000,000 to 1 odds. So they were delighted to be able to prove that van must have drove across this field. Murder detectives. They put 6 police forces. They put me and Danny under surveillance for about 4 weeks. Poor Danny, they watched him go to the poll tax riot while he was under surveillance all day long. These officers that have got him under surveillance, they're going to nick him for this, and they watch him go mental all day. He went to prison for that. Poor bloke. He got a double whammy.
That's fucking hilarious, though, that.
And that's the story of the raid, really. Very successful, very good. I'll give you one more postscript to that. And this is a horror place. This is hell for dogs in here. We listen to them this time of night. I wonder if we stay quiet now, if we can hear anything. Vaguely.
I can hear. I can
you will
hear
not,
them.
even with that microphone, it will not pick it up. It's the only noise that it carries is very high pitched shrieks.
Hellish sounds.
But it's not our case at Camp Beagle that the workers routinely punch these dogs. In the laboratory, for sure. I'm not saying that they're not, you can't like dogs if you work here. But it's not our case. It's when I say hellhole, it's for the conditions they're in. I bet your dogs do. In fact, the undercover, the last whistleblower said that they use their legs all the time when they go, get down, get down. But I'm talking beating them. It's not our. We don't have to say that the dogs are beaten. From here, they get treated hideously. They get treated as if they're cardboard boxes. And they never seen the sky. And from here, they get tortured. That's obscene enough. But I remember I went to see one of the dogs years afterwards, because after the raid would be finished, and it's a good job in my case, I used to try and be quite strict of not having contact with the dogs. Once I'd liberated them here, I wasn't going to see them again in case the police were following us. And then that's what they did in this case. So Danny, they managed to get 2 dogs back following Danny going to our home. In my case, in the 4 weeks, they didn't get any. But so I kept away from the dogs and I wouldn't go and see them. But I did go and see one of the dogs after about 3 years. And it was heartbreaking. I knocked on the door and my lovely friend answered the door. And this dog had been with her, like I said, for about 3 years, getting nothing but love. That dog bolted under the table. She wet herself and was shivering because a stranger had turned up. You know, disgusting. You can, yeah.
It's fucking heartbreaking, that.
Yeah. And that's that story, really. Yeah, St. Patrick's Night, 1990. And I'll tell you the reason why it was St. Patrick's Night. Because the one thing that was missing there was this fucking, I call it an abomination, the mobile phone, that's allowed us all to do this great networking. It allows us all to contact each other. It's got some good points, but I can't even think what I was going to say then.
There is a comment here asking about the website not being active.
Oh, our website is down. It's been a long saga. We used to have campbeagle.co.uk. We had to change that to campbeagle.com. We're trying to rectify it. It's a bad technical issue. Our emails are down. Yes, our website is down. We're working on it, and it looks like we might have lost it. I don't want to go into the reasons at all. Well, but it's not going to stop our work. It's a hiccup. It's an inconvenience at the moment. So, and thank God, you know, like, yeah, our website is down. Our website. Hopefully, we'll get it rectified. But yeah. Forget what I was going to say before. I think that was it, really. I was going to say why we had it on St. Patrick's Night. Because this is back in the day when we had human beings, we had brains and we had memories and we had things like trust amongst each other. And in order to, like, if you wanted to get some experience of how to raid the laboratory, you didn't Google it, you know what I mean? You spoke to experienced people. Now you Google it, I suppose, how to raid the laboratory. You can Google it. But the reason we had it on St. Patrick's Night was because it takes months and months and months to plan these things. And we're going to need people. We're going to need homes. You know when I said the 82 dogs, they just disappeared? That doesn't happen by accident. That happens by planning. So when you'd have something like the World Day for Laboratory Animals, back then we'd have thousands of us. 10,000, probably in the 1990s, you'd get 10,000 people. I can tell you now, one of the reasons will be to demonstrate with the placard and shout, but one of the main things that would happen that day, all the little conspiracies going on, and for something like the raid, because you knew you were going to do it, you'd pick a significant date that people would maybe remember, because when we did have memories, and they wouldn't maybe have to write it down. We're doing it on St. Patrick's Night. The next time it was done November the 5th on Bonfire Night. So, but that meant months and months beforehand. You could meet someone. Hey, look, we're doing a raid. We need some people. Meet us at the Tesco's or St. Mark's Church in Huntingdon at 7 o'clock on St. Patrick's Night. You only had to say it once. You wouldn't ring them the day before. Are you going to make it? It's like you make a deal.
You're over there or you're not.
They'd say, St. Patrick's Night. This is October, maybe. That's March. I'll be there. 7 o'clock, I'll be there. So, yeah. And that is the story of how the raid was done.
I've got a question in the comments here. What advice would you give to people wanting to get into animal activism? Big question.
Yeah, the reason I pause, but I shouldn't. It's a negative thing. But the first thing I want to say is watch out for. Hang on, let me just get this right. There's a whole horde of people that have joined this movement that do nothing except they're in their bedrooms. Hey, Camp Beagle. No, they take Camp Beagle. Oh my God, we get so much trolling. You've been there 4 years. What's the point of drinking tea? Get the dogs out. So, if someone there is newly involved and they want to find out a group, go beyond the fucking phone. Meet people in your area face to face. If I was going to plan a raid and I wanted people to be on that raid with me, I can't build up fucking trust over a mobile phone. You need to sit down. So find people in your area, ideally. That idea, thank God, it's starting to come back now. There's the group down in Bournemouth and Dorset. And there's a national group now. Forgive me, everyone. Animal Freedom, they're called it now.
Yeah, they're like, it's like a coalition of quite a few groups,
And
isn't
the
it?
idea
Yeah.
is to not work eventually toward a national coalition, but regional groups. They've started really well.
I think that's a great way to organise, isn't it?
Dorset,
Yeah.
Devon, Bournemouth, Poole.
God, I sab down there. They're ruthless down that way.
Are they?
Yeah.
So they're getting it together. I think the next area is like, I think Nottingham they're beginning to work on now. So find people in your area. I tell you what, I talked before about the Animal Liberation Front. The Animal Liberation Front is nothing other than a group of friends. Find like-minded people. Do some socialising with them. Go have a coffee. Go for walks. Find yourself a nice bunch of people. Don't spend your... That's not to denigrate the use of social media and all the good stuff we do. So I was going to say don't spend your life on the phone, but maybe do. If you've got a lot... I spend my bastard life on the phone now, you know, but it's important work. But we're here, boots on the ground. So make it tangible. Don't... I'd say initially use the phone to find the contacts and then meet the contacts, meet the people. It's the only way. So let's keep it old fashioned, you know what I mean? And then, so yeah, find yourself and become friends with people in your area, build up trust with a small bunch of people. That's how revolutions work, you know? So, and be wary of people though. Be wary of people. Unfortunately, tragically, I've got to say it. Just because someone's got an animal rights t-shirt, or just because the first sentence they come out with, I'm vegan, doesn't mean necessarily that what you see is what you get on the packet. The animal liberation movement reaches absolute, height and peak, and hopefully we're going to go back to well, now globally, like before when I talked of a peak, that was when the movement was strong in the UK. It was strong in Germany. There was a bit of a movement in Scandinavia. There was a bit of an ascendancy going on in America. Now it's global, which you can thank social media for. But let's go back to the original idea. What formed the animal rights movement was local groups. And local groups, you can meet regionally. So like here we are, Huntingdon. So there should be a Huntingdon group, a Peterborough group, a Northampton group, a Kettering group, a Corby group, a Cambridge group. And then a couple of times a year you get together. A couple of times a year you have national gatherings. We don't have any national gatherings at all now. You get conferences in posh hotels, but the animal rights movement used to depend on our gatherings, you know. Oh no, it's a meeting. Well, how the hell do you think anything ever happens apart from face-to-face direct talking and meeting? So, sorry for the waffly answer, but find people you can work with and trust. And how you can do that over a phone is difficult. But if that's your only option and the type of work you're in means you can only contact each other using a phone, but at least once a year fucking meet up or something. Do you know what I mean? So that's my answer. Do it. Find people face to face. Find them through the phone. But then, yeah. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a fucking great answer. No more questions.
Right. Well, why don't we? Because I was told to do it for 3 hours. We have 1 hour of Pepe.
Well, we're at an hour. We're at an hour and a half.
Oh wait, look. bring the camera closer. We'll have
Yeah, I've just
1
zoomed,
minute of Pepe
just zoomed in on
snoring.
it.
I'm told that YouTube like things like put the camera and point it, like come quite close so we get the full. Right, if you listen careful, folks, you can hear us snoring.
Oh, we do have a question. Have you guys made any key progress lately? Do you think you're close to closing the place down?
What a fantastic question. What a fantastic question. The answer is yes. We have made progress. Yes, we're getting near. I am not here for some never-ending protest. Oh my God, it's terrifying. I'm here as a piece of direct action. It's like an old medieval siege. As each day goes by, we find out more damaging information about this place. We really do. So, but it's all in everything happens in the background. If you, we've put this on the map 4 years ago. And I'm not saying Camp Beagle did it. It'd be ridiculous and be offensive to say that Camp Beagle has done this. It's because of us. But we've been a key part. Every time you pick up your social media now, hopefully you see stuff now. It comes up about animal testing, doesn't it? That wasn't the case, folks, 4 years ago. I believe it was the undercover investigation by the woman in Spain. They've recently released her film. A film's been made about it. Activist in the underground bunker. Carlotta. I believe it was her. Again, it was an undercover investigation that sparked this movement. Camp Beagle stepped in. And we have just captivated the public's imagination. And because we do it every day for 4 years and 4 months, we've rang the alarm bell and it's paying off. I can tell you now, within the government, within the industry themselves, that all the talk is about getting rid of animal testing. They're not well, I say that, but we began this by talking about Keir Starmer's greasy handshake with Donald Trump, about $4 billion US investment in life sciences. All the talk amongst the scientists, at least, maybe the boardroom, the proper Vanguard, Black Star, the dirty fingers and dirty pies, the bosses of the corporations, but they know the writing's on the wall, because all the talk amongst all the scientists and all the researchers is of getting rid of animal testing. They know the writing's on the wall. They can't defend it. So the actual industry are putting, they're probably one of the biggest investors now into non-animal methods. But the only progress we want, I'm not here to win an argument. I don't want to fucking win a philosophy debate. I'm sick of winning the argument. I'm sick of us getting absolutely no opposition. But we do go from strength to strength. We get stronger. They get weaker. They get more isolated. And we just got to keep going. But people are impatient these days. Everything takes time. Look, Barry Horn died on hunger strike. Who's going to text me today to say that he didn't stop animal testing? What was the point of him? What an offence. I wish someone... Hey, imagine saying that, Barry. What a waste of time that was, Barry. Ugh. People want a button to press these days. Everyone wants it easy. How are we going to stop? I want to stop animal testing. What can I do? I don't know the answer. Camp Beagle is absolutely... We're the worst nightmare for this company ever had. That's why they spent £4 million to get rid of us. I don't know the answer. Get together with creative, freewheeling, free-thinking people and come up with, make yourself into a nightmare for these animal testing, whatever. Think about what they don't want you to do and do it.
Do you want the next question?
Yeah. How come these questions are coming? Are they
just in the comments, yeah. Do you think Starmer will move animal testing out of the UK to another country? Other than the Channel Isles, I don't.
Figure,
he's fucking grim, isn't he?
He's a sickening figure. I've seen. Imagine all the politicians. Tony Blair. Oh, Keir Starmer's right.
He's an absolute ghoul, isn't he? Yeah.
Will he get rid of
Will he
He's
outsource
greasy,
it?
he's slimy, he's
Yeah.
lying. No, I think Keir Starmer's plan is to make this a flagship to bring more Labcorps here, to bring more Sequanis, more, invite Charles River over. He was lying to us. They're lying. The Labour Party are lying. All the political talk, is to get rid of animal testing. But behind the scenes, God knows what Keir Starmer's planning. Brexit was maybe there's some talk of the whole idea of Brexit was to get out of the EU so that the UK could have its own custom-made animal testing procedures to invite, rich American companies. So, no, I don't think Keir Starmer's going to get rid of animal. No. But he's got no plans. The Labour Party, they're going to produce some shit roadmap at the end of this year that's going to not have any deadlines. It's going to not have any dates in it. They're lying to us.
It's a fucking yellow brick road, isn't it?
Yeah. But what do you do then? When you've got the government that supports it, you think, well, it's impossible. We're not going to get shut down. No. It is possible. I've got no faith in politicians at all. It's not good. Politicians aren't going to stop animal testing. Me and you and the people are. They'll come at the last minute. They'll come once. We've won the debate. There's no one to debate against us. No scientist in the world, not one professor will go up against me. Some scruffy bum at the side of the road. Destroy us with your facts. Destroy us with your science. Any more questions?
No, that was it. Some lovely comments though. Thanking us for our dedication and our great hearts. Slowly but surely, animals will all be liberated. That's about it. Yeah.
Wicked. Well, we're doing this for a reason. We're doing it for this engagement. We don't want your money. But we do want to share everything about Camp Beagle. One of the most important things you can do is come and have a cup of tea. We're a boots on the ground thing, and we thrive on people coming to visit us. We had one woman, she was spectacular. You weren't here. We had one woman turn up, the taxi pulled up at the gates, and I just heard this, she's a little old lady, 75. John! It's Diane from Manchester. And I was like, hello. I goes, oh. And the taxi was waiting. I goes, is that your taxi? Yeah, hang on there a minute. I goes, why? She goes, you know what I've done? And it was 2:25. She'd come from Manchester. It'd taken her like 4 hours to get here. My bloody train's at 2:50. She could only stay 10 minutes. She bought a bag of treats, Pepe. She bought this harness. And she'd come all this way. And she didn't have any frustration at all. I was so delighted with her. I said, oh, look, that's amazing. Can we do a live stream with you? And she's like, bugger off. I haven't got my teeth in. And off she went. We had the Americans come. With what's the name of their group?
Oh, Animal Activism Collective.
Activism Collective. We had them come. Solly met them in Luxembourg at the International Animal Rights Conference. They were brilliant. They got stuck straight in by going down the map. And we did a call out, and we wanted people to go to the Marriott, and it was the Americans that turned up. There's a lesson in there somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, come and have a cup of tea. We're famous for our tea and cake. My mum and dad are from Ireland, from Kerry, and we've kept that kind of County Kerry tradition here of having the kettle on 24/7. What time is it now? We get people sometimes turn up at this time. All right.
No, it's
and we'll
11
get the kettle
o'clock.
on from. And we'll have some cake and biscuits and like I haven't mentioned it. We've got our kitchens vegan. We've got a vegan kitchen. So that means when someone comes in, they're sitting there, I say, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of coffee? And if they say, yeah, I'll have a sugar and milk, I don't say like, oh. we're vegan, is that okay? Or everything like that. I'll just give them a cup of tea with some whatever milk, oat milk, soy milk in it. It's a really important part of, I think, of the Camp Beagle thing. But we never make posts about it, and we don't really talk about it too much because we're not a vegan campaign as such. But we foster that idea of kindness. So many people have gone vegan because of our kitchen, because we have full slap up meals there, like the Waltons, isn't it? Sometimes we
Yeah.
have roast dinners. We've got local people bringing us cakes. We're famous for our cakes, so come down and experience the Camp Beagle experience. Walk down the side and listen to the dogs, and that's it. Look, but here we are. It's like it's an old-fashioned idea. This protest camp. There used to be one called the Greenham Common Peace Camp that lasted for 20 years. There's a camp right at Faslane Trident Missile Base outside of Glasgow that has been there. You ready? It's a protest camp. You won't have heard about it because they don't do social media. Faslane Peace Camp. They can't be bothered with it. God bless them. They've been there for 40 years. I can't believe it. So we're from an old tradition, but we're the longest animal rights continual protest. Go and ask your chatbot AI what's the longest animal rights protest there's ever been, and if it doesn't come up with Camp Beagle, tell them off. No, actually, there is someone in India that's done some. There's some group in India that's done some continual protesting.
Yeah, it's like 26 years or something.
Yeah,
mad like
but
that.
we're the longest continual running animal rights camp, and we're on the map, and we're here, and we still captivate people. We're here, come rain or shine. It's tough. It's horrible. It's a place of love. It's a community here. But we've got the neighbours from hell, and it's a tough existence. But Sasha, you're new to the sort of. You've been here before. In fact, you've been here. Last time I saw you, were on the roof.
I was on the roof in April. Yeah, got banned for 3 months.
And but you're just because there's not many people are ready to dedicate. We love it when people can come, stay for a cup of tea, stay the night, bring your camper van. But we never expect people to make the commitment that it takes to keep the camp running. But it looks like Sasha could be a new member of the cult.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I think so. Now this place changes, doesn't it?
It does.
Before I went up on the roof, like I stayed in a tent down the bottom, and I didn't get a lick of sleep that night because all I could hear was dogs fucking crying constantly.
Yeah.
And it emotionally affected me.
Yeah.
And then I got the ban, and as soon as that was lifted, I just knew I had to come back here.
It's that sound, isn't it? It's haunting.
Oh, it gets into your soul. It's
and when people leave here, they kind of, they shouldn't do, but they feel. That's why the camp was set up, because people, one day 2 women just said, "I'm not leaving."
Yeah.
And ever since then, like never give up. We say it's not a slogan. We bloody mean it. We are not going.
Yeah.
We're not leaving here. We're not going to. I thought I've had doubts, but we're back on full steam ahead. That we are not leaving until this place is gone, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I believe we can do it.
If it wasn't for the ban, I would have. I don't think I would have left here in April. Like this is just the right thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
People can frame it however they want. This is morally the right thing to do.
Yeah, this story is a horror story in its own right.
If you walked past some random fucking house and you could hear fucking dogs screaming constantly, any sane person would boot the door in and see what's going on, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and we haven't really talked about it. It's because if you look around, it's beagles, dogs. Loads of people will stop, and we have got a unique. I'll get in trouble from the new generation of animal rights philosophers if I dare to say that we've got a unique relationship with dogs. But let's cut the shit. We have, and it was a dog. This Pepe, I've had her a year. I named it after my original She's Pepe Le Pew too. It was a dog dying in my arms in Ireland. I'd gone out with a vegetarian woman at that point for 3.5 years. I didn't have a clue what she was going on about. I never thought for one moment I'd go vegetarian. But she'd sowed seeds in my mind, obviously.
Mm.
I wasn't anywhere near ever thinking I was ever going to go veggie. It was a dog dying in my arms in Ireland. I was on my own, living top of this mountain in Ireland. And it was a dog dying in my arms that broke my heart, but opened my heart to the suffering of all animals. And we know that we're doing that here. A big demographic of we've got at Camp Beagle is dog lovers. And I think that's a brilliant thing. Someone in this new generation of animal rights people would say that's speciesist. You should have exactly the same feeling about a dog as you should a chicken. I agree that we should have compassion to all creatures, but we kind of use that dog, that special dog thing. We know with its puppy power, you know, like there's something about it that's instantly heartbreaking for so many people, where they might not feel that attachment to a chicken or a pig, but once they do stop, you what? Soya milk? What's that then? You know, and if you can get someone to get them to agree, which like I said, no one will defend it. No one will say it's all right to keep the dogs in these sheds where they never get out, they never see the sky. No one will say that, even though it carries on and they do it. The Home Office say it's okay, but no other human being. And if you can say that about a dog, then the same should apply to pigs.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's making that stance about dogs.
Yeah, I mean, dogs are just the tip of the iceberg, aren't they, really? Like, you know, when you get into smelling distance of a dairy farm, I mean, I think that's kind of one of the things that, I won't use the term radicalized, but put me onto this path, was growing up where I did in Wales. Growing up with all the farm smells and slowly learning that that is the smell of oppression, isn't it?
This place stinks.
This place is vile. Yeah, you go up the back, you could just smell blood and shit.
When it rains, they pump raw dog shit.
Yeah, but I went around looking for it the other day, didn't I? I could smell it. I couldn't see where they were pumping it out, but it was
raw dog shit.
Yeah,
straight into the
very putrid.
Right, we're done in, aren't we?
I'd say so, yeah. Do you have any final thoughts?
Pepe, really. Pepe sleeping.
She's fucking perfect, isn't she?